All right, hey, what's up everyone? Andrew at Microphonic Designs here at my local high school, Aubrey High, and Lainey did help me. We had to split the setup between 2 days. I was here 3 days ago, and we had to stop partway through the day, and today I'm back with the Director of Percussion, Mr. Chris Mutz, and he's joined me today to help me get everything finished up. And so we're going to go through the cabling. We're going to take a quick look at the mixer because they have a Behringer X32, which if you caught last year's video and the year before, you may know that they have an X32. And Chris asked a great question to sort of kick us off with the video here, which is, you know, how should we go ahead, or should we go ahead and put in a mute scene? How do we do that? Yes, we should. So you'll see here, I've got a 2025 template scene set up. We've got all of the channels labeled. We've got marimbas in green, and I did the labeling a little bit different to make sure that I accommodated how their score is set up. So they're outside marimba. So they've got 3. They're doing it as marimba 1, 2, and then 3 is the furthest out. And then the vibes are going to be vibes 1, 2, and 3. So the instruments labeled as number 1 are both next to each other on the 50. So I wanted to make sure that reflected in the soundboard as well, right? So that when Chris is here and he's working on stuff in the fall, it makes sense. So like what he's seeing out there makes sense. I don't always do that with larger setups, but I think it made sense in this case. So again, the point there is stay flexible with how you label things, and as long as it makes sense to you, I'm all for it. We've got our synths over here, synth 1 and synth 2, and then we anticipate using their stereo microphone, the VP88 once again. So all of these channels are stereo linked. And on the second layer, we've got soloist mic 1, 2, and 3. So I've got 3 spots for them in case they need to plug in some extra sideline mics, which we do anticipate at least 2. And then we've also got the wireless microphones plugged in. So we've got the receivers down here, the BLX4s, plugged in to these channels here, so that again, if they need to use them and they decide to add them in last minute, we've got those channels ready to go. Right now the plan is to not use wireless, but you never know. And in this case, they could decide to use it. So again, I wanted to stay flexible. Normally, if we know for sure 100% that we're not going to use something like wireless, I would just disconnect it and take it out. But we want to make sure, like, we're focusing on flexibility for this particular setup. The speakers, I kind of got these set up a little bit late last season because they ordered new speakers from me right at the beginning of the season. So they've got the QSC setup now with the QSC subs and the KW152s as their mains. And they have just a rock star band dad who helped weld these custom handles on the side. And they even have these extra like bars here to wrap the combo cables around. So awesome addition to their Titan side-by-side frames. Nice compact setup, and they've got the mirror opposite on the other side. And then they also got set up with the audio power combo cables that I make, actually. So these were manufactured by myself, and I've just got them going out and down, real easy. And of course, here is one of the active output panels that I also build. So if you're looking for audio power combo cables or one of these output panels, get in touch. I got you. I build these things. In the board though, let's get back to our mute scene. Now that we've kind of got the lay of the land, what we need to do is I like to pull all of the faders down. And again, you'll notice that we're still on the 2025 template scene. Like that's the scene that we saved and that we have loaded up. And I'm making these changes. And we're going to go here, all of that's muted, and we can also, actually this channel here, the main left right is recall safed, so scenes are not going to affect the main output. Same goes for the sub output. And with that said, we've double checked that all of the faders are brought down. We could even go so far as to mute everything. There we go, just like that. And now with these changes in place, again, everything is muted. I'm going to go back over to scene so I can hit the view button to pull up the correct menu. And I'm going to select the next slot down and I'm going to hit save. And instead of template, we're just going to label this as the mute scene. And the Behringer has like a strange way of doing it. So M, where are we? U, T, E, there we go. And let's save that. So now we have a mute scene, and so now we can go back and forth between these two scenes. So when I recall the template scene, everything should jump up. I need to resave this. All right, here we go. Sorry, I had to resave the template scene. I thought I'd saved it with the faders pushed up. But here, I'll show you how I'm doing it. I'm hitting the next button, which is queuing up the mute scene, and then I'm hitting the go button, and everything mutes. So we've got the mute scene in there, the soundboard's ready to go. Let's take a look at the front ensemble. Again, if you caught last year's video, this is basically the same in terms of the front ensemble, where we've got our 3 marimbas, our 3 vibes, and everything meets up here into a main central snake. But one of the changes that I've recently made to how I organize the cabling had to do with something that does happen every now and then, where occasionally we'll have a student that mixes up the double stripe and the single stripe, and they'll get swapped. And so what I've done is I've started organizing it so that all of the double stripe cables are tied together and all of the single stripe cables are tied together, so that it's a little bit easier to organize. And I'll show you another example over here where you'll see right here, again, I've got the double stripes grouped together and the single stripes grouped together. And this should eliminate completely the issue that sometimes happens whenever the single and double get swapped, which even then, when that does happen, it's not it's not going to make or break your show. It's a real minor thing. But still, we want to be thorough, we want to be complete. So I've started organizing the way that these hang off of the instrument a little bit differently. A small tweak that I think is going to make it a lot easier on the students to not have to think as hard when they're plugging this stuff in. The electronics section is, we got some super fun stuff going on back here, so let's take a quick look. We have 2 keyboards in the back. We're using a Yamaha MX88 and this Juno DS as MIDI controllers for main stage. And because they have the Scarlett 18i8 audio interface, we have on the back 4 audio outputs. So you'll see back here, look at that, we've got the red, the double red, the white and the double white. So we got a left and a right, and then another left and right for synths 1 and 2. So in the mixer, we actually have channels, a stereo pair for synth 1 and another stereo pair for synth 2. And what this audio interface also allows us to do is use the 2 headphone jacks on the front as separate monitor feeds. So in main stage, all we're having to do is make sure that all the instruments for synth 1 are routed to outputs 1 and 2, and all the instruments for synth 2 are routed to outputs 3 and 4, and everything is split the way it's supposed to. So only synth 1 sounds are going to come out of that monitor speaker, and only synth 2 sounds are going to come out of that monitor speaker, and the same goes for up there on the board. And then Chris has also added one of these little battery boxes to the synth cart to help keep everything going from the warm-up zone to the performance field, because we've all been there where, especially with main stage, we're like, we do the warm-up lot and it's great, and then we unplug and turn everything off, and then for some reason it just stops working when we get to the gate. So these little battery boxes help eliminate that. We also got the VP88 set up. This is an awesome stereo microphone. You'll see we got 2 channels coming out, and this, because we're not totally sure where the stereo mic is going to go and where the 2 soloist mics here are going to go, we've just sort of got them plugged in to, for sound check, and based on where they need to go, whether that's side 2 or side 1 over here, we'll adjust the length of the cable as we need. So yeah, good look at Aubrey High School. This is my local school. I live like 12 minutes from campus down the road. My P.O. box is like across the street, A lot of construction going on at the campus, which is partly why we had to stop the other day. But the area is really growing, and the band program here is getting bigger every year. It's so great to see. So Let me know if you've got questions or comments about the setup down below. I didn't really show too much of the cabling because we already put the resonators back on the boards, but if you've seen any of the other videos, it's the same thing as usual. Everybody stays in their lane. It's nice and clean. Again, the big change has to do with how I group the cables coming off the ends now, and I'm pretty settled on that decision. I'm pretty pleased with it. So anyway, y'all, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.